Good morning, dear children. Welcome to the Moral Science class.
It's lesson time, but you don't want to sit. Don't do it. Don't do it. Show self-control. Don't throw a fit. You're reading your book, but you want to chat. Don't do it. Don't do it. I say self-control is where it's at. Self-control. Self-control. Don't do it. Don't do it. Self-control. Self-control. Make a wise choice. Use self-control. You're taking a test and you want to cheat. Don't do it. Don't do it. Show self-control. Sit back in your seat. Hey, I don't want to wait. Don't do it. Don't do it. Head to the back. Self-control is great. You gotta have self-control. Self-control. Don't do it. Don't do it. Self-control. Self-control. Make a wise choice. Use self-control. Teacher says work, but you want to play. Don't do it. Don't do it. Show self-control and call it a day. You get so mad you shout. Don't do it. Don't do it. Use self-control and work it out. Self-control. 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 Self-control.
Is that all of us are supposed to have self-control. Just means self-control in charge of your emotions, thoughts, words, and actions. It means doing what God wants us to do rather than what we want to do. It means responding to people the way God wants us to respond to people. Now, it's not always easy to have self-control. Think about some of these situations. What would you do if someone had just taken your favorite toy from you? Or maybe someone's just called you a mean name and hurt your feelings, and now they're laughing at you. Maybe you just received some discipline from one of your parents, and now a brother or sister is smiling behind mom's back. Would it be easy, or would it be hard to be self-controlled in those situations? The truth is, sometimes it's hard for us to be in charge of our emotions or our reactions, especially when we're facing a challenging situation. But there is something we can do in that moment to exercise self-control.
Children, let us learn today an important value in life, and that is self-control. Today, we are going to study the 8th chapter, Earthquake Tremors. What is a tremor, children? A tremor is a shaking movement in one or more parts of your body. It is involuntary, meaning that you cannot control it. Come on, children, let's listen the story. A long time ago, in a land far away up on a hill, at the very pinnacle was a monastery. Pinnacle means a high pointed piece of rock. Many monks lived in the monastery under the guidance of an old monk who was their head teacher. They spent their days in prayer and tending the sick. Tending means ministering the sick. In the early mornings and in the late evenings, the echo of their chants reverberated in the silence of the forest surrounding the hill. Chants means say or shout repeatedly in a sing-song tone. And reverberated means be repeated several times as an echo. The people living in the foothills said that they had never heard anything as holy and inspiring as the sound of their prayers. One day, all of a sudden, an earthquake shook the earth. The people of the town, they were looking for a safest place to find for shelter. The earthquake was so strong that the entire hill shook violently. The monastery was old. Parts of the monastery began to collapse, and the monks were terrified. They had never heard of an earthquake in that region, and they were completely unprepared for it. So they began to run around panic. We can hear the screams of terror and fear from the town below. The head monk was a wise, calm, and controlled man. He looked at the collapsing monastery and called the monks who were running in panic. He called to the monks in a loud, commanding voice and took control of the situation. He gathered all the monks in the kitchen, from where they could hear parts of the monastery crash down. Soon the earth stopped shaking. There was silence all around. Even the birds and animals were quiet. The teacher said, "Today you all had the opportunity to see how one should behave in a crisis situation. The idea is to stay calm and not rush about in panic. If you rush about in panic, it will only cause more problems. You may have noticed that I did not panic. I was quite aware of what was happening. Even though the situation was a dangerous one, I stayed composed. I led you all to the kitchen, which is the strongest part of this temple. And I hope you realize that I made a very good decision. We have all survived without any injuries, isn't it?" Most of the monks were filled with admiration for their leader. "It is true," one said. "He didn't scream like we did." "Yes, and he led us to the kitchen," another added. "He is truly wise." "What a good leader we have," they said and nodded at each other. The teacher also added, "The person who looks calmest in an emergency is really the most nervous one." I was also little bit nervous. So what I did is, I drank a very large glass of water. One of the monks smiled but didn't say anything. "What are you laughing at?" asked the teacher. "That wasn't water," the monk replied. "It was a very large glass of white vinegar." The teacher started laughing. "No wonder it tasted so sour. I thought my fear was making it taste that way." He looked at the young monk and said, "You have taught me a lesson." I had begun to feel very proud of myself and my ability to keep cool. Actually, you were the one who was the calmest. You noticed what was happening around you. You were aware of everything. "To be aware is to win every situation," he added. Sometimes when you are in very stressful situation, you aren't aware of your actions until someone else points your mistake. But the main idea here is that without self-control, it is not possible to handle any situation tactfully. The monks nodded and from that day onwards tried to be aware of everything that was happening around them at every moment of the day. They did not daydream anymore. Dear children, if you know what you are doing every moment of the day, you can control your thoughts and actions.
Once an unpleasant man abused a saint. The saint was very calm and relaxed. After the man finished abusing the saint, a passerby asked the saint, "That man abused you so harshly. How do you maintain your cool?" The saint replied, "If you give a gift to someone and they refuse to accept that gift, then who does the gift belong to?" The passerby said, "The giver." The saintly man replied calmly, "I refuse to accept his gift."
Remember, the most powerful person in the world is the one who has control over his thoughts and actions.
Grandpa, can you tell me another story?
Sure thing, Kyle. My story for today is a very short one, though.
Just tell me, Grandpa.
Okay, my story for today is titled Self-Control. Hi, honey. I am almost late for my interview.
Yeah, you better get going, since you know it starts at 7:15.
Okay. Bye, 7:09. Hey! Watch where you are going. I am sorry. I didn't mean to step on you. What do you mean, you didn't mean to step on me? Is sorry gonna clean my shoe? I'm very sorry, sir. Don't tell me you are sorry. What do you mean by that? If it wasn't that I am going for an interview, I know what I would have done to you. 7:13. Good morning, sir. I am here for the job interview.
Have a sit and we would get back to you.
After some minutes.
You can go in now.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, sir. I am here for the job interview. Well then. Do you recognize me? I am very sorry, sir. I acted out of annoyance. I am very sorry, but there is no job for you here. I'm not sure if I can work with you. Just leave the building. So you see, Peter, we have to be self-controlled. No matter what.
Okay, Grandpa.
So children, learn to become self-controlled. Thank you, children.